You have me in trouble this morning because I like to see who I'm speaking to and with. So if you see me doing so, it is not disrespect to you, and it is not disrespect to you. I'm sorry that they have not given me a handheld mic, and if one is available, I'd like to have it, please. Thank you very much. This is a lot better. I can see you now. They say that all roads lead to six roads. That is true? Well, we are at six roads. Many people ask me, why have you come to public life? What made you want to serve? Well, if you didn't understand before, this morning is about why I have come to public life and why many of our people have come. We, as you heard from the minister, are determined that people must be seen, must be felt, and must be heard. And when we were elected in 2018, the first estimates that I had, ironically, we're in estimate season again, and many of you will be with me this afternoon, and some this morning. The first estimates I had, I took the time, and some of you may remember, to question at length the structure, the functioning, and the purpose of the Social Services Agency. And the first question I asked was how many social workers we had in each agency. And by the time we finished, it was clear that while one agency may have had 30 or 40 or 50, the collective amount of social workers in Barbados was over 300. And therein, with your communication to me, lay the seeds for the first responder approach that every social worker in this country must be a first responder. Kirk is absolutely correct, because when he became Director of Social Policy back in 2007, Prime Minister Arthur asked me as Deputy Prime Minister to chair the Social Policy Agency, Council. And we had less than 6 months left in government at that time. But we knew from then that we wanted a people-centered approach to the delivery of social services, and that what we had with us was a Victorian approach that effectively worked for the functioning and ease of the agency and not the people it was seeking to serve. And we heard the horror stories that many of us as members of Parliament have equally heard. I had to boat from this place to that place to that place to that place, and then get the satisfaction. How many times have you heard that? How many times have you heard that? And we determined as a government upon the coming to office that this had to change. Ironically, if we step back and look at the larger context, the reality is that too much of Barbados looked, in spite of our going towards and becoming a republic, too much of Barbados looked like if it was still being ruled by Queen Victoria, not even Queen Elizabeth. That the approach to welfare was a Victorian approach. The approach to criminal justice was a Victorian approach. The approach to child detention and child protection, a Victorian approach. How did a country that is functioning in the third decade of the 21st century, then the second decade when we came to office at the end up with a situation where we resembled a time governed by a queen that has been dead for over 100 years? And we remembered the words of our anthem. We are firm craftsmen of our fate. And today is perhaps one of the proudest moments for me as Prime Minister of this nation. Because today, we're not simply, as you've heard, opening a building or a client center. We are changing how we seek to relate to one another, particularly those who, for no fault of their own in many instances, and maybe some for their own fault, but nevertheless who need the support of others to be given that opportunity to take control of their lives and to be able to make a difference, not just to their own life, but to become one of the productive citizens of this country that can carry along the rest of their family or their neighbors or their godchildren or their community or their church going family. Because once you can move from a point of dependence to a point of independence, the next step is interdependence. And that has been the simple message, Kirk, from 2007, upon which the social policy of this nation for the Barbados Labour Party was premised. How do you move people from dependence to independence to interdependence? How do we get people to give back? Being able, having recognized that they may not be as strong as they would like, but they're strong enough, because our history is replete with examples of people giving and sharing, today for me, tomorrow for you. In town they call it the share pot mentality, that what I got, I can share my pot, and tomorrow if I don't have, you can share your pot. So how do we translate that? The second point is this, and I want to bless and thank Dame Billy Miller for instilling this in me as a young member of Parliament. And she said, you know, the fundamental difference between the two parties in the country is not as much philosophical, but more tactical and how we do things. And she's correct. We all come out of the tumult of the 1930s, and out of that, mercifully, there has been a common philosophical perspective between every single government that has run this country at the level of philosophy. But where we've differed is that the Barbados Labour Party has always believed that you carry services to people. And the Democratic Labour Party has centralized services. And I'm not being partisan now, I'm just reflecting history and different perspective. And therefore, when we came to office, the St. Joseph Outpatient Clinic was closed. The one in Belle Plaine was closed. We made it our business to open back those clinics so that the people in St. Joseph and St. Andrew did not have to catch a bus out of their own pocket, which was already under pressure to come to town. When we were therefore settling this model, what was clear to me, and Kirk is right, I gave him two remits. One, that we need to be able to have a people-centered agency, and two, we needed to be able to bring services to the people. And that was premised on the philosophy that we're moving people from dependence to independence to interdependence. I'm sharing these things with you because we live in a world where people expect instant action, instant results. The commentary on governments and departments is that if you don't respond instantly, you are incompetent, you are failing, you're no good. The country needs to understand the process and the building. If we sought to direct that there shall be a social empowerment agency without the level of consultation, without the level of building that has taken place here, and I want to thank the Minister, the Permanent Secretaries, and the supporting team, the change management teams, the heads of agencies, the boards, because this was a complex process, bringing together multiple moving parts. And as you heard, even to have had 80 meetings across the period of time would obviously consume a significant amount of time. And it is true that I kept on top of the minister in the need for being and moving diligently and quickly. And every estimate, I said, you ain't ready yet? But the bottom line is that I also understood that in getting efficiency of time, that I needed efficiency of communication and efficiency of people buying in to the concept. You all will determine whether the people of this country feel that history has been made and that you are writing your name on history's page with expectations great. I urge you to see yourselves as the persons who are carrying this country into a new space, and that being a republic isn't only about getting there on November 30th and reflecting that this is who we are or swearing in a president. Being a republic is about bringing a different attitude and approach to the kind of Barbados and to the kind of communities and to the kind of families that we want to build in this country. There is no doubt that we are living in better times than we were a few years ago, that we have the lowest unemployment ever, but the lowest unemployment ever doesn't speak to the fact that there are still people who are underemployed and there are still some who have not yet received jobs as they would like. The reality is that many of the issues relate not just to lack of economic opportunity, but to social difficulties that go beyond the individual or the family. And it is our role in this social empowerment agency, SEER. See? I called it SEER, so I don't know. It's up to Bajans what I call it, because bra ended up bra. But you really didn't have much chance with the consonants. But with this social empowerment agency, we really have now to ensure that we can make that difference to allowing each of our citizens to become productive. Because why? We need you. We need you to help build out the social capital in communities so that our young people don't believe that a gun is a tool of trade. We need you to build out the social capital in our communities so that people can become productive. Nobody likes to have to go and ask a need, a want, when they can go and earn. When they can recognize that even if they have a substantive job, that their skills, whether in backyard farming or cooking or sewing or doing hair or doing something else, can help carry a family. And the stories are not being told in a modern Barbados about how families were sustained in this country. Most families did not depend on a single source of income. Most families ensured that they had stock to carry out, and the children helped in that, and that helped build the social capital. Most families understood that sometimes if you had a grandmother who had a sweet hand and she could bake coconut bread and pone and whatever, that she could still get a little outing from things. And when they could come to time for school children to go back to school and you could sew, you get a little extra income from being able to do that too. This is the Barbados that we must be building. But I want to go even further. In determining that we should reflect a society that is who we are in the third decade of the 21st century with the aspirations that we have, it meant that we had to go into areas that hitherto a modern Barbados did not provide a deal for. You who are, with the blessings of God, have had to accept that there are disabilities of some type. And more people have disabilities than we talk about, because people only see the extreme cases of disabilities without recognizing that there are minor cases of disabilities too that affect how people function in their homes and in their workplaces. And that this government could put together a deal. And I want to thank Mr. Edmund Hinkson, who is not with us. I want to thank Carrie-Ann Eiffel, who is now our new Human Rights Commissioner, who is with us. I want to thank the rest of the council. I am sorry that Bonita is not living, because Bonita has been one of the major people on this journey with me from the beginning in making sure that we brought a new deal for you. And I want to thank Minister Ryan Strawn too for his empathy and understanding, such that we, for the first time, have appropriate support from the National Insurance Scheme for our families who are affected in this area. And Kirk, you talked about the deal for the elders. That process is well on the way. And in her absence, I'm not sure, I don't see Cynthia here this morning, but I know Cynthia and Jackie Wilshire Ford, Cynthia Ford and Jackie Wilshire Ford have been carrying that load for us over the course of the last few years. And I look forward to being able to have that bill become law in the Parliament of this country. This is what we were elected to do, to make a difference in the lives of people in a tangible way. Not just to have the buildings erected, although I notice that Six Roads looks completely different from Six Roads looking 8 years ago. And whether it is the buildings opposite, whether it is the construction there, whether it is the new extensions that opened a couple years ago to Emerald City, whether it is the fact that we are now constructing at Sterling Children's Home, the first new senior citizens village after Vauxhall, with the designs having been completed for the one in Edgehill, St. Thomas, and soon to be completed for Odell's Glen in St. George. And I'm told that you're coming to take money from me this afternoon in the estimates for the construction of both of them next year. Or whether it is that the government is committed to a new civic center for our police station at Six Roads and other modernization of court and other services, because Six Roads is a town. And the confidence of the population is seen in the investments which have been made to see the expansion of this town as we go forward. And this, for the Barbados Labour Party, should be nothing new, because under Grantley Adams, it was Six Roads that he chose to put Princess Margaret School at when it was being built. So I want to thank you. I want to say to the residents of St. Philip, we see you, we feel you, and we hear you. And we have come to bring integrated services to you, to ensure that in the same way you benefited in the past from a school here that could accommodate the children who needed to go to secondary school, that we are now seeking to accommodate you in your desires to have the families of St. Philip fully integrated into the society of Barbados by ensuring that they get the best possible opportunities, even if they have fallen down at some point, but we are in a position to help lift them up again and carry them with us. And I want to say to you that this is a partnership. It is a partnership between those of you who will work in SIA with the Bajan public, who need your services, who I see it. It is uniquely Bajan. We don't say see you, we say see ya. But it is a partnership between those of you who are on the front line. When that person comes to you, as Kirk said, for the first time, it is the worst day of their life. And they don't know where else to turn. Because most people will turn to family and to community and to godparents first before they come to an institutional support. Secondly, it is a partnership between the government and the people of Barbados, because poverty is not only fought by the government. And the One Family program that we have established is premised on the fact that that battle to lift families from dependence to independence to nurture interdependence must happen not because government alone is integrating the services that we can give you, or the private sector, as happened with Flow and other agencies, have come on board to help you so that you become digitally literate. But it is also because we recognize that if 4 out of every families are above the poverty line, and 1 out of every family is below the poverty line, surely the 4 who are above can help lift weight to ensure that people do not fall through the cracks. Right, my man? You were in the first discussion, so you know. Mr. Pollard, the rest out here can't see you. But you must always be seen by everybody in the job that you do. So that I appeal to the nation, to the people of Barbados. If you have not yet committed to helping in the One Family program, please come forward. Because we were very clear. You can always give money, but money isn't the only currency that helps to empower. The currency that helps to empower most is a listening ear and a helping hand, a warm heart, voices that literally encourage others to believe that they are in a safe place when they are speaking with you. And whether it is that you go to buy a few extra groceries when you go to the supermarket for the family you're supporting, and when you go to deliver it, you realize that the boy who playing football barefoot all the time, and you have an aunt coming down from New York, and you tell her, bring down a pair of size 10 football shoes for me for this youngster. Or whether it is, as happened recently, and it has touched my heart, where a number of youngsters got themselves into trouble, and the owner of the establishment chose to call them in, and rather than ask the police to prosecute, they asked the police to stand down, and they met with the parents and the youngsters. And when I heard about it, I called all of them to Elara Court, and I met with them as well, and with Kirk, and Reverend Joseph. And by the end of it, I must tell you that I was a little disappointed that the fathers didn't come and it was only the mothers. But by the end of it, we did some deals. If you do well at school, by July, this is what we're looking to do with you. And if you stay the course on this, this is what we're looking to do. And one of them was to buy a table tennis board, which I said that I would do with the owner of the establishment for the youngest of the lot, who was 11. And the owner of the establishment said, no, Prime Minister, I can do better than that. If these boys all come to this certain location at 10:30 every Saturday morning, I'm going to pick up all 4, and I'm going to carry them with me to this sporting association that I carry my grandson to every Saturday. That is what Barbados is about. This is who we are. And all of us in here can remember stories in communities of the police in the day giving somebody a chance, because let us be honest, none of us are perfect. None of us is perfect. And if we don't be the country and the people that give people a second chance, what is the basis of the religion the religious faith of Christianity, if it is not about redemption and opportunities and forgiveness? So that I say to us that, Sia, your biggest gift, you can get it by the time I left. I say to us that our biggest gift comes not in the money that I will preside over as Minister of Finance and Parliament will vote for you in a few months. It comes in the smiles that you have when the people come into you, to let them know that this is a safe place. It comes in the listening ear that you will give. It comes in the understanding and the innovation to think outside of the box and to see how and where you can place people. Because regrettably, a lot of our people have fixed ideas too about what works for them. And they come and say, I want a school meals job. I want a government job. Why you want a government job? Because I can get 6 weeks vacation and nobody can fire me. Well, to begin with, you don't get 6 weeks vacation up front. And secondly, you can be dismissed. So that is not a solution. But what I have learned as a member of parliament is that you break down. Don't ask me for the solution. Tell me your circumstances. Tell me your issues. Because what you think may be the only solution, I may be able to show you that there are other pathways that can help you. And you, therefore, are our eyes and ears, our hands and feet. And in you, we vest a large amount of confidence. And we vest the hopes that you will build out for us the manner in which we want to be known and felt in our communities and by our people, because it is the very same people who must raise our children and who must mentor and also shape the values of our people. I want to thank you. I want to salute you. And I'm going to thank you, Kurt, Minister Humphrey, for the extraordinary job of leadership that you have undertaken in bringing us to this place. I do not take it for granted. And I say simply that when we set goals and we stay the course and we recognize that even though the journey has been long and even though others did not make it before, if you, like me, become a Jimmy Cliff person, you can get it if you really want it. But you must try and try and try. We will succeed. Today is the evidence of that success. God bless you. See ya. God bless all who come. God bless the people who will rely on your services. God bless the parish of St. Philip for leading us in this transformational effort that has truly taken us from Victorian times to a modern republic of the people of Barbados. Thank you and God bless.